Hello, everybody, and welcome. You have joined Witchy Tuesdays, where we are thriving live once per week to discuss all the astrology, to pull all of the tarot. And this week is no exception. We end this week with a Capricorn full moon. Delicious and yummy. I cannot wait to get into the astrology of it. There are plenty of conversations that are going around this Capricorn new moon. So you'll definitely want to stick through. You don't want to forget to like, comment, subscribe, follow, and stay tuned as we get all of the astrology updates, fill you in on what is coming up in this week, and then we'll pull some insight from the tarot. I have a whole tarot spread ready for this Capricorn full moon. So here we go. And we're going to switch it up. We're going to switch it up this week. Normally I clear space right here. We're going to get right to the good stuff. We're going to get into the astrology. I'll clear space at the end. And we'll head right into it. Today is, I don't know if it's Mercury in Cancer. I don't know if it's Cancer season. I don't know if it's the Saturn retro. There's a lot of watery and a lot of flowy. I know today for myself, I'm kind of like, I just want to hermit. I just want to sit on my couch and I want to enjoy and I want to have this like me time and I want to I want to crab in. I want to do those things. So if you are also just feeling that like being close to home, being very comfortable, not really wanting to exert a lot, definitely not alone. Definitely not alone in that energy. And a lot of that, again, there's a lot of water that is happening right now, especially last week with the astrology of last week, headed into this week, the astrology of this week. And then we square it all off with some, very pointed questions from this Capricorn full moon, as Capricorn does. It puts the things in front of us that we need to see. So how we're going to work this week is I'm going to read off all of the astrology for the week, let you know what transits are happening on what day. We'll talk a little bit about some of the high transits that I'm pinging and pinpointing because they're going to have further support and conversation with this Capricorn full moon, but we are going to really stick with this Capricorn full moon. It wants to be the star of the show. And I mean, as it should, right? It's a Capricorn full moon. It wants to be the star of the show. I have Oracle, I have Tarot, and I also have the Sabian symbol. Um, haven't been bringing Sabian symbols in here, but we are going to start today and why not start with the Capricorn full moon? So we'll get into what that Sabian symbol looks like. Okay, so let me go ahead and show you what we got out here. Again, here's that lovely Sabian symbol book, the Starseed Oracle. We've got the original Rider-Waite. The Starseed was actually a late breaking like edition. I heard like go get a guy, go get a deck, go get a deck. So this is not in the description box yet. I will put it in after the live episode today. But both the book and the original Rider-Waite are, so you can find all of that information there. Okay, so starting off this week, again, we'll run through the astrology real quick. We'll see if any tarot pops out as we get through the week, and then we will head right into this Capricorn full moon. So 627, that is today. Mercury in Cancer sextiles the North Node in Taurus, 1 degree, 51 minutes. We are so ready. Maybe. I am so ready. Hopefully, everybody out there is also so ready for the nodes to switch. That is coming in July. Very excited for that piece. What did we have? We have the Three of Wands and the Devil come out. Very excited to see that North Node transition from Taurus into its next. It's going into Aries. So we've got the Aries Libra axis versus the Taurus Scorpio axis for the North Node and the South Node. But before we can get there, it's still got a couple of weeks. It's still got a few weeks. It's has to meet up Mars in Cancer, sextiling. In fact, it's got actually over the next couple of weeks, it's actually making a lot of aspects. The North Node is And when we have the devil here with the 3 of wands, I'm Mercury in Cancer. Let's start there. How is that feeling for you right now? How is Mercury in Cancer working for you right now? Again, my thoughts, my what I'm interested in right now, what I'm gravitating to, what things that I want it to be very comfortable. I want it to be very homey. I want it to be very close, the 3 of wands. I want it to be very close to the things that I love, the foundations that I've set. I want it to be a little bit of like that escape, right? When I think about the books that I'm reading right now, I want to be in that fantasy realm, and that can also be that Saturn retrograde in Pisces as well, which Mercury is about ready to get into too when we come up in a couple of days. But how is that working? Right? How is Mars or Mercury in Cancer now that it's in here? How is that working for you? Like I said, for some of us, it could have felt, especially me as a Gemini rising, it just like shot into Cancer. Like I wasn't ready to dive in the pool yet. I wasn't ready to go to the ocean. I didn't have my swimsuit on. I wasn't prepared. But here I am at the ocean, and I love the ocean so much. So my feet are getting wet, my jeans are getting wet. It's fine. So in this sextile with the North Node, again, the North Node, the devil here, has a lot of we're finalizing we're finalizing this transit. And there's a lot in this last degree, really 2 degrees, because we'll go from 0, 0 to, we're at 151 right now. So we'll get these last 2 degrees. There's a lot that's accumulating and finalizing. There's a lot that we can look back on and interpret, retrospect, find out Mercury in Cancer. How do you feel? How do you feel with this North Node in Taurus? What are your thoughts around how you led through this North Node in Taurus, South Node in Scorpio? What things have changed for you? How can I take that information? How can I go and take the things that I needed to learn, the lessons that were there for me, and how do I create a strong foundation from it? How do I move forward? Where's that promised land of, what I was and who I'm becoming? And how does that landscape need to adjust now? How do I stand and lead myself forward? So that is on 627. 628, we have the sun in Cancer trining Saturn retrograde in Pisces. This is at 7 degrees 6 minutes. And again, there is a lot of water happening. And that's probably where this like fluidity, this feeling, this kind of, I'll even go to say like I'm a little mini like lethargic. Like I want to go take a nap. I want to go be comfy and take a nap. So the sun in Cancer trining Saturn retrograde in Pisces. These are all just kind of building as Saturn has been in Pisces and as it's gone backwards and it's now retracing its initial ingress steps into Pisces. How are you handling that? And that is actually, this is where we're building, these conversations are building into this Capricorn full moon because Saturn is the ruler of Capricorn. And that is one of the very clear things that was pulled out with this Saturn rulership here and where Saturn is within this full moon chart. How are you handling the water? How are you handling Saturn's ingress into Pisces and what it's doing within the Piscean realms of your chart? How are you handling that distinct difference between Aquarius and Pisces? While they have a lot of similar attributes, talking through like how it's a lot about the collective and the community and things. They have similar ingredients, maybe if you want to put it in that realm to them, but they are vastly different in how that shows up and shows out, especially through each individual in their natal chart. So how have you been handling that water And the sun could be here to really just shine that light, allow you as the individual, you as that sovereign ruler of your life, allow you to understand and bring clarity into how you are handling it. Did you think you were handling it really great? And then all of a sudden you have this like, oh, I really didn't handle that well, did I? Hello. King of Pentacles, Knight of Cups. Let's see if we can get one more. I feel like one more wants to come out for this Sun, Cancer, trine Saturn, and Pisces. And it's supportive. Like that's the best thing about this is it's not like that harsh light of the square where the sun's just like, you better pay attention to this. We got the 3 of Pentacles. So we've got the Knight of Cups right in the middle of both of these pentacles. So let me put this over here. So as it's again, it's supportive, it's a trine. So as this trine is occurring, it can be a lot about, that softness, that ability to, here in the 3 of Pentacles, that ability to showcase. The ability to showcase, okay, what has been built? Where have your boundaries been? What are the things that you've been doing really, really well? What are the things that we can build upon? How can the sun illuminate that for you? How can this Knight of Cups, and this Knight of Cups, I love that a cup came out right in the middle between these pentacles, because it's what we're building on earth, right? The Knight, or the King of Pentacles, 3 of Pentacles, what our foundations are here on this earth, how we are living our life. Because while Saturn is in Pisces, we cannot forget that we are human beings. We live in the earth. It can't, like, we are having an experience in this body, in what we're doing, and we still have to live a life. We still have to move forward with our life and with the tangible things, these pentacles in our life. But that doesn't get, this is where this Piscean energy can become so supportive and so loving, is while we're having that life, we also can't forget that Sun in Cancer can shine that light. We also can't forget that we are also a spiritual being. We are also connected to the collective. We are also complex in how that life shows up for us and how these energies move through us. We are also, we also have goals and dreams. So it's this, like, I'm feeling it into this as like this back and forth of these conversations that the sun can supportively show is, are you a little bit too much in the woo, in the upper sphere of this Piscean energy? And do you need to adjust down? You need to get some of those boundaries into the earthly realms, into the things that you can do here on earth and being in this human experience. Or do you need to flip flop that? Do you need a little bit more cups? Do you need a little bit more of the Knight of Cups to come in and bring you things, to go on this campaign, to connect deeper with, we have a 3 of Pentacles here, connect deeper with your roots, your ancestry, especially with the Sun in Cancer, right? Look at Cancer, home life, siblings, family, parents. Do you need that extra additional connection to know where you came from? Even if maybe where you came from might not be like the last 7 generations, right? It's finding out deeper things than that, and you can go deeper than that. And that might be what you're trying to accomplish here with this Knight of Cups. It might be what you're trying to, who are you within your lineage? Who are you within? What type of illumination can you find there? So again, this all really, as we talk about current transits, a lot of these current transits really depend upon where everything is within your natal chart and how this energy works with you and what type of work you've done with these planets and these energies. They align with archetypal energies, and how have you been cultivating that relationship, working with that relationship within yourself. So 629, nothing. And then on 6:30, we've got two things. This is when Mercury will have the trine with Saturn retrograde in Pisces. That's going to be at 7 degrees 5 minutes. So the sun will meet up 7 degrees 6 minutes. And then Mercury is going to follow in its wake and go, yo. Hi. So what was illuminated? What direction did you figure out that you needed to go in? What kind of came up for you during this conversation? And now what can I do with that information? How can I process that information in a healthy feeling sort of manner? Because again, Mercury and God's gets in his feels. There's a little bit of feels there. And that might be also the other thing is I don't feel some sort of way about it. I've come to that conclusion. I don't need to feel some sort of way about it as I trine Saturn, that I'm good with all and where all my things are at. I'm good with the direction that I'm going. Or, hey, yeah, the Eight of Pentacles just dropped. I'm good with all of the work that I've been putting in. I'm good with the direction that I'm taking. There's a lot of, for as much water as we have, there's a lot of earth. There's a lot of pentacles coming up, and there's been a lot of pentacles over the last couple of readings. The pentacles are here. It's grounded. It's in the earth. So this is all about as you're working with the higher, as you're working with the 5D, as you're working with spirit realm, etc., as you're working with yourself, your Ori, your destiny path, it all comes back to what are you doing here on earth? Eight of Pentacles. What types of skills are you learning? How are you growing? How are you taking your dreams and making them a reality? How are you using that and the things that you get from that and building upon it? And that's like kind of Saturn's role, right? Like where are you lacking the work? And then how do we get that better? Or here's your work. This is awesome work. Great job. Here's more of the work. Here's more of what you want. Here's your reward for all of that work. And then on the same day, Neptune goes retrograde. So that will happen at 27 degrees, 41 minutes. Look, Knight of Cups came back out. Hi, we've got something to say. I'm still here. I'm still here. I have a lot to say. I am obviously Saturn right now in Pisces retrograde. Knight of Cups, Saturn retrograde in Pisces. So as we speak about Saturn, Neptune and Saturn have a very extensive and long journey together. They are co-present for years. And it's not trying to really project too far ahead, but just knowing that this is an energy that's going to be building and is going to be coming. It started when Saturn ingressed into Pisces. I don't care if they're 29 degrees, 29 minutes apart. Saturn and Neptune are co-present in the same sign. That in itself, with the energy and the dynamic of these archetypes, that in itself is a big deal. But as they begin to work with each other, ingress into Aries together, have a season in Aries together, this is a building and budding conversation that is going to take years to complete. So, it really is working and understanding how getting more in tune with this. As Saturn goes retrograde in Pisces, Neptune's following. As Saturn goes direct, Neptune's going to go direct. They are going to do this dance with each other over years. And they're all up in Pisces living their best life, right? They're all up in the cups. They're all up in the water. And Neptune, let's just kind of level set on what this looks like. So on 6:30, and we have the Page of Wands. On 6:30, station retrograde, 27 degrees, 41 minutes. Stay retrograde which is very normal, long retrogrades for Neptune, until December 6th. And that's where it will go back to 24 degrees, 53 minutes. So Neptune's covering territory he's already covered. This is already the part of your natal chart that he's already been in. This is really nothing new yet. We're still in that third decan. He's still been working in that third decan. And it's a 158-day retrograde. Now, depending upon how Neptune works with you, depending upon your natal Neptune and where all of this is happening in your natal chart, Neptune can work in a couple of different ways with a retrograde. Neptune, for some people, can work to actually, when he's retrograde, you get clarity. You actually get clearer about the things that Neptune is trying to tell you. It's almost like he, instead of just being, this like numinous thing, you actually get the Page of Wands, you actually get some clarity on your directions. That can be one way that Neptune works with people. Another way is Neptune doesn't get clearer. In fact, he gets muddier when he retrogrades back, and things become a little more veiled. They become a little much more numinous, where I don't know. I'm unclear. I don't know my direction forward. I'm swimming in these waters. And escapism, right? That's another way that Neptune, like, let me take you. When I retrograde, Neptune can retrograde and go, let me take you, like a siren song. Let me take you into my world. Let me take you back. Let's set this beautiful scenery. Let's get a little lost in the sauce. Let's go ahead and let our imagination run wild. So it really does, again, it depends upon how Neptune works with you and where it's at in your chart. So it is 158 days. Neptune will be retrograde. He'll obviously have contact with a lot of other planets during that time, and we'll talk about all of them as he goes through that. But Neptune, outer planet retrogrades, they're not, in my personal experience, they are impactful, they are important, they're part of the energy signature, but they typically, for me, do not have that direct influence like strongly, unless it's on one of my other natal planets or really pinging a natal something in my natal chart, as like a Mercury retrograde, a Venus retrograde, or a Mars retrograde has. Those I tend to see show up much more in my physical realm, where a lot of the outer planet transits, the retrogrades of the outer planets, tend to show up for me in the 5D, or just kind of in the world as a collective. So if you experience the same thing, that's awesome. Throw it in the chat, throw it in a comment, let me know. And let me know how you work with Neptune in retrograde. I'd love to hear about the differences in like how Neptune shows up for you and in your natal chart when he retrogrades. So then we get into July. So we turn over the calendar. We head into July, and July 1st, we have Mercury in Cancer conjunct Sun in Cancer at 9 degrees, 9 minutes. Kazemi, boom, Mercury's in the heart of the sun, 9 degrees, 9 minutes. That is, hold on. We got to do a little Google search. I'm just typing in 9 numerology. So completion, which, yes, 10 is that finality. Yeah, so it's this completion without finality. Wow. So that heard, very well heard. Mercury in Cancer conjunct Sun in Cancer at 9/9. Completion without that finalization, that last little step to just, put the cherry on top, get the strawberries on there. I see that 9, new favorite number. All right, here we go. Here we go. 9, the new favorite number. And yeah, I mean, this is where Mercury gets his energy, the most energy from the sun. It's both in water. This is the Kazemi that's in that watery space. So hopefully for you, as Mercury's been working with you, as the sun in Cancer has been working with you, you find that that lovely part of the ocean, one of my favorite parts where you're not in the deep ocean. You're like feeling the waves and riding the waves, but you're able to like stand like maybe with water up to your chest or up to your shoulders. Um and you're just like every time a wave comes, you just like bounce yourself up and you float back down. So hopefully that's where Mercury is with you as you finalize and he gets into this energy of Cancer, and that you're not kind of lost way out in the deep blue trying to wade back to shore. And then right after he's done with the sun and getting all of that energy, getting any insight from the sun in Cancer, he sextiles Jupiter in Taurus at 9 degrees, 20 minutes, and the Ace of Pentacles pops out. Gifts. Saturn, yes, I always say it. Saturn's the gift giver. Jupiter makes things bigger, which I love that this pentacle is bigger. It's bigger than all of the other pentacles. This is what this sextiling Jupiter in Taurus. So here I've got energy. Here I've got some insight. Mercury, I know where I'm going. I know the direction I need to go forward. I know what I'm doing during this Capricorn full moon, which is coming up in 2 days. I am preparing for that. I know what I need to bring forward. And Jupiter is here making whatever this gift is, right? Whatever the gift that was given, and is expanding it, is making this gift bigger, is making this insight bigger, is making this understanding bigger, is making this vision bigger. Whatever that is, Jupiter's saying it can be bigger, Mercury. Go bigger. Keep going. Keep making it bigger. Nope. Bigger than that. It's kind of like I'm getting this feeling of like it's gonna kind of blow your mind. Like it's bigger than you could imagine. Um because right after that, so Mercury and Sun meet. Mercury heads forward, meets up with Jupiter, goes, hey, bigger. And then the sun comes literally right behind and also meets up with Jupiter at 9 degrees, 21 minutes. It's like back to back to back of just activation. 7-1, great activation day. Again, completion without finalization, right? You're not finalized yet because there's something bigger. There's something bigger. You're bigger than what you're thinking. Sun in Cancer, sextiling Jupiter. Mercury in Cancer, sextiling Jupiter. You are bigger than what you're thinking. Your goals are bigger than what you're thinking. Grow bigger. Go bigger. Do the things. You have gifts. Make them bigger. And then on 7-2, Venus in Leo squares Uranus in Taurus at 21 degrees, 46 minutes. Venus is getting close, y'all. We got a whole Twitchy Tuesday planned up in July where we're going to just dive into this Venus and Leo. We're going to talk about her, what her transit looks like. Typically, we're going to definitely dive into her last one in Capricorn and what that kind of brought up and where she is going in Leo and what types of things come out of a Venus in Leo transit. But not only that, a Venus in Leo retrograde transit. And this square to Uranus and Taurus, it's, Uranus, Two of Cups, Queen of Pentacles. Uranus. Look, he's real clear. Uranus is very clear. Where are you at? Where are you at? Where are you at in your journey? And I am going to rattle your journey and see if you're actually still standing after it. If you're still standing, good on ya. Pass, moving on, right? How do you react? That's that Venus and Leo. This is the energy that we have been working with Mars, with Venus through this year is how your reactions. How are you reacting to things? How do you react? How does Venus handle it when this gets shaken up? This harmony, Two of Cups, this balance, the things. This is, I mean, Queen of Pentacles, Venus right on Earth, right? How do you react when these things get shaken, when they get twisted around? What if this came out now? I don't read reversals, but what when you see this How does that make you feel? How do you react to that? Right? If you saw it this way, what do you think now? What do you think now? And for those that are just listening to this, I'm just moving the cards around in different directions. What if one was upside down? This is the conversation that Uranus in a square is going to be having. This is what he's going to be doing. He's going to be shaking and moving all these cards around. He's going to be changing these and is going to be challenging, testing, whatever word you want to use, your resolve within them. Because no matter which direction these go, no matter which direction these cards go, guess what? They're the same fucking card. It's still a Two of Cups. It's still a Queen of Pentacles. No matter which way you choose to put them, it doesn't change the content of the card. And that's this lesson that Venus is going through in Leo. It's the lesson she has been going through. It's the lesson that we've been working with over these last couple of months into last year, even into 2020 at this point. It's this continuing building lesson of what are your values? Do you know who you are? Do you know what you stand for? Do you know what you believe? And that's okay if those things change. But today, do you know that this is a Two of Cups? No matter which way I put it, no matter where it goes on this board, it's still a Two of Cups. Okay. Uranus is going to come. Okay. What else can Uranus say? You're right. It's a Two of Cups. Great. So if I turn it sideways, Uranus, if I turn it sideways, you're good, Venus? I don't like it sideways, but yeah, I'll deal with it. It's still the Two of Cups. I still know what to do with that. This is moving and working with Uranus and Taurus as he's shaking those foundations, getting into that third decan of Taurus. So now we end with the Capricorn full moon. And that happens on 7/3, which this Venus, Leo square Uranus and Taurus is still very present during this Capricorn full moon. And so, going back and thinking through all of the conversations that we had with the astrology over this week, all of these conversations, all of the things that I talked through are really leading to this Capricorn full moon. So let's get into the details. And then, like I said, I do have a tarot spread for this Capricorn full moon. So the full moon, 11 degrees, 19 minutes. It's going to happen at 6:38 a.m. Central Time on July 3rd. This moon opposes Mercury in Cancer, which means Mercury in Cancer is still conjunct the sun, although not exact. That happened on the 1st. And it's also trining Jupiter in Taurus, which we know because Mercury and the sun met up with Jupiter at that time too. So Capricorn full moon, first off, we love Capricorn. Do the work. We love doing the work. We love having Capricorn here to help us through that. And I talked about it earlier when I was talking about Saturn, but the ruler of this moon is Saturn, who is retrograde in Pisces. And, Saturn, again, is how you're handling the water. And that's what this Capricorn full moon is a check-in. This is a deep, illuminating check-in. Remember, we release things on the full moon. We birth new things on the new moon. So this is a check-in with where you are at. That's the word of this moon, check-in. Do your diagnostic check. Do your due diligence. So, and the reason why always a Capricorn full moon is that kind of check-in point is because this typically marks the middle part of the Gregorian calendar year, right? We start in Capricorn season, we end in Capricorn season. Capricorn full moon kind of divides us down the middle. Obviously, the moon, when that happens, it fluctuates. However, this is about halfway through the calendar year. It's check-in time. So check in with yourself. Do your diagnostic check. If you are somebody that sets goals at the beginning of the year, resolutions at the beginning of the year, if you're somebody that, works through setting different markers and things of that nature. How are you doing right now? How are you doing? Did you forget all about it? Did you repeat a cycle? Did you do the things that you always do during this time? Did you, what's been occurring over this last half of the year for you? And it comes down to this question that I really liked that I wrote out, which was, who are we? Who are we? And how does our outward accomplishments, our job, what we create in the world, etc., align with that? It's a great journal question for this Capricorn full moon. Who are we, and how does our outward accomplishments align with that? 'Cause that's what Capricorn's all about. It's these outward accomplishments, what we do, how we show up in the world, what we do that gives us praise and the ability to have that self mastery and all of that. And you know, how are all of these things aligning? We've got this trine to Jupiter. We've got this opposition or conjunction, moon opposing sun conjuncting Mercury. How do you feel about what you've set out to accomplish? How do you feel about who you are and the outward do they match? Where are you at in your journey? That's all that Mercury and Cancer is here to really shine the light on. And especially since he just met up with Saturn, the ruler. And they just had this conversation. How are you handling the water? How are you doing all of that? And it's a lot about assessments. Capricorn's great for assessments. Assess your plan. What needs to change? Assess the tapestry. We talked about that last week. What masterpiece are you creating? Assess it. Where do you need to change your paint? Where do you need to add this? Where do you need to make adjustments in it? And, adjust according. There's nothing that says you can't adjust at any given time. And this, the Queen of Swords just popped out. Yeah, get really fucking clear. This is an illuminating moon to get really, really clear about what you're doing. Get so crystal clear about it. And again, I want to be very Queen of Swords. I want to be very clear. This is not your short-term goals. When we get into this, we've been talking about this, but especially when we get into this Capricorn and we talk in long-term goals. We talk in your life. We talk in the life after your life. We talk in your generational stuff. We're talking long-term assessments. Every goal that you hit, every habit that you have, everything that you do in the short term affects the impact of the long term. So if your long-term goal, get clear, if your long-term goal, make it easy, I want to create generational wealth. Statement done. That is my long-term goal. Are the decisions that I am making today, the goals I am accomplishing today, the plan I have in place today, and what I am doing today, does it all lead to that long-term goal? And if not, where do I need to change? And if so, how can I do more of that? Queen of Swords, clear as pie. What types of boundaries do I need to set? How do I self-discipline? How do I align my actions with my intentions? That's all this moon is illuminating for you. It is a great time to course correct. Jupiter, trine to Jupiter, calling Jupiter. Jupiter will help, especially in the earthly, tangible ways. Jupiter can be here to, again, whatever you're seeing is being made bigger. If you don't like what you're seeing being made bigger, if you're assessing and you don't like what's bigger, you need to get really clear with yourself and you need to check that. You need to change it. If you really like what's getting bigger, awesome. Appreciate that. How do I get more? How do I continue on that path? Does that freak you out? This is that Mercury in Cancer coming back in here. How does that make you feel? Look, I'm going through it right now. I totally understand. When big things happen, this is what our inner saboteur does. When you're doing the shit you're supposed to be doing, when you're accomplishing things you're supposed to be accomplishing, you better have your warrior on. You better be channeling the fuck out of your warrior, because I guarantee you, your inner saboteur is not far behind to shut you down. Guaranteed. So, are you letting that inner saboteur win? Hold the conversation? Or are you and your warrior checking that inner saboteur? Are you doing the things that you need to be doing? So, that is okay, so we'll get to the questions for the reading, but one last thing with this moon, I wanted to read the Sabian symbol before we get into the reading, is really look at where, I mean, we've been working with Capricorn a lot with Pluto here, but really look at where this is showing up for you in your natal chart. You want to look at where Capricorn is, and even on the other half, right? Its other balance point. You want to look at that, and 11 degrees, 19 minutes, call it maybe the first 2 decans, kind of that 1 to, call it 15, maybe, orb. Where is that? What house is that in? What is that house, and how has that house been showing up for you with all of the transits in Capricorn over the last couple of years? What things have you learned? That can give you an idea of where some of these questions might be geared to. Okay, so the Sabian symbol, for those who have never worked with Sabian symbols, this book, the link to this book is in the description box if you are on YouTube and on Twitch. But this, you can also find these online, by the way. It's essentially a insight into every degree of the zodiac. So, for example, this Capricorn full moon is at 11 degrees, 19 minutes. So there is a Capricorn 12, because it goes from 11 degrees to 12 degrees. Any degree point within there has a phrase, so what the degree is, and then an explanation of this degree. And this was channeled through Dr. Mark Edmund Jones in 1953 is when he first read this. So it is a channeled message from the cosmos on what each of these, and it can just give us a little bit deeper clarity into what the energy of this moon can bring. So Capricorn 12, a student of nature lecturing. This is a symbol of the wide ramification in experience by which man achieves his greater opportunities, emphasized on the vicarious or intellectual side as he participates in events and shares meanings through the mind's eye alone. Here is direct fulfillment in consciousness. Life gains its eliminability as the individual discovers that he can master its endless facets through ever expanding facilities of the reason. This is reminding me a lot of that 8 of Pentacles. The key word is explanation. When positive, the degree is self-confident through the acquisition of knowledge and effective self-direction through the practical application of all values. And when negative, psychological smugness and an unreasonable pride of intellect. Sabian symbol for this moon. Okay. So we have guidance here. We have our deck, and we've got 3 questions and then a guidance card. And then that will conclude Twitchy Tuesday. All right, first question is going to be, what type of foundation do we need to create to flourish and succeed during the second half of the year? So let me get that rolling. Thank you, Spirit. All right, so what type of foundation do we need to create to flourish and succeed in the second part of this year? All right, Spirit. Whoop, thank you. We have the Empress. And how can we feel safe and secure about our goals? Okay. We got a lot to say about that. And then what boundaries do we need to assert to restore our personal power? What boundaries do we need to assert to restore our personal power? Beautiful. Okay. Let me put this over here. And then this is the, whoa, hello. Okay. This is the Starseed Oracle. Again, that is not in the description box yet, but it will be at the end. Let me get one more for guidance. Oh, learning how to be human in the world, but not of it. We just talked about that. And child of the cosmos. And this is really honing in with me with this moon here. Okay. All right. Here we go. Okay. So, first question, what type of foundation do we need to create to flourish and succeed in the second half of this year? And the Empress came out with that. And just to, for our audio listeners, just to give you what came out in this middle question of how can we feel safe and secure about our goals, we had the Queen of Wands, we had the Seven of Pentacles, we had the Emperor, we had the Eight of Cups, and we had the 10 of Cups. All came out. That's the order that it came out. Fanned it out. This is where we're going with. And I think all of this is really bleeding together, especially with our 2 guidance cards. What boundaries do we need to assert to restore our personal power? The moon came out from that. Biggest message right away that has to come out, because I think it's going to kind of lead our direction with this entire reading, is there is something so clear here that you have to be standing in the power of you. Whatever you're doing during this moon, part of that illumination is where, like, you can put it as where you're giving your power away, where you're not standing in your power, where you're not creating and accepting this space of who you are as a spiritual, energetic being. If you are on the journey of opening up your gifts, you are internal about that. If you're not speaking that outward, if you're not sharing that with family, with friends, with people that are around you, if nobody knows that you're beginning to explore this part of you, and not everybody deserves to come on your journey with you. Don't misunderstand me on that. But there needs to be this, because this came out with the boundaries and Capricorn full moon. There's this really key grounded fact that you have to set your boundaries with yourself and with others about who you are and what you are here to do, what path you are walking. And even if you're not really ready to bring everybody on your journey yet, or you're just getting into everything and you're like, okay, I'm trying to figure out what this means for me and what it could mean, it doesn't mean that you have to hide it, right? Hey, what are you doing? Oh, I'm working on learning how to read tarot. Oh, that's interesting. That doesn't mean you need to hide that from that person. All that means is that person, thank you for showing me where you're at. I know you don't need to come on this journey with me. Hi, well, can you go out tonight? No, I've got a tarot class. I'm trying to learn how to read tarot. That's so awesome. I didn't know you were doing that. That's really interesting. Okay, well, too bad you couldn't come today, but I'd love to meet with you and go out to lunch and hear about your journey. Somebody that might be willing to come on your journey with you. But it's not hiding that fact. It's not pushing it under. It's not, I'm getting the word degrading it, right? It's still owning and having that ownership in there. And that's where it's coming from. So I'm going to actually read these before I get to this side of the deck, since that message came in first and super strong. So, earthed. This is earthed. And it's learning how to be human in the world, but not of it. So it says the challenge for all souls having a human experience is to be in the world, but not of it. This is what we talk about with Pisces. To realize they are souls having a human experience and be fully conscious of it, to have their soul fully embodied in their body. People's personalities tend to relate to either transcendence or immanence. Those who lean towards transcendence have a longing for the heavens and the metaphysical. They yearn for a personal experience with God and to be lost in the heavens. And they're envious of the angels and are more comfortable praying and hanging out in the stars than on earth. Again, this goes back to how's Neptune working with you? Those who tend towards immanence have attached themselves more to earth and their body. They spend more time thinking about things in this physical world rather than connecting with the heavens or their own mystical inner worlds. Being a fully embodied soul, having a human experience means finding the balance between transcendence and immanence, being in the world but not of it. And I love how these cards came out in this, and they wanted me to put them in this kind of T shape because I do think that this is this balance, right? With all of the goodness in the middle. This is a lot of goodness in the middle here. And you can look at these as two different balances. You have two major arcana, the Empress and the Moon, on either side of all of this. It is the balance. The Empress is very earthbound. Look at, she's on the earth. We've got Venus here. Venus, the ruler of Taurus. Taurus right here. Earth. Not only earth, but fixed earth. Jupiter. Right? We are here. This is grounded. This is of the earth. This is that immanence, where the moon is very much of the ether, right? This is the transcendence. This is spending time up in the energies, up in the 5D. All of the goodness though comes when these two things are balanced, not when they're out of whack. So let's keep going with this earth. Most star seeds are drawn towards transcendence. They're more comfortable with the angels in the heavens. Life on earth can be more difficult for them. If this is you, you are being reminded that you chose to be a soul in a body on earth. Signed up for it, right? And you're being called to focus more on your energies in the physical world, to learn how to be human, a soul in a human body, fully present to what life on earth has to offer you. Here is an inquiry, two inquiry questions for you. You tend to long for the stars or be more in the physical. How can you find greater balance between the two? Because here's the goodness. You got the Queen of Wands, take great action, sovereign ruler. You know, this is Queen of Wands. Everybody wants to come to the Queen of Wands courts. They want to come to her court. They want to enjoy her presence. They want to seek her guidance. They love that she is a fair and just ruler. You have this 7 of Pentacles. You're able to grow in your abundance. You're able to build and bring forth the things that you need for your harvest, to feed, to nourish yourself and your community and your family. The Emperor. Other half of this queen, other half of the empress. The emperor is grounded. You know how to take action. This can also be your other half, whatever that other half looks like for you. This could be your other half that's coming. All the goodness is coming in this row. You have the Eight of Pentacles. You're able to walk away from things that no longer serve you. You know how to do that. You have the discernment. You've grown in this aspect because the 10 of Cups is here. Complete emotional fulfillment. Everything that you want. This is the completion with the finalization. One step past the 9. We have it here. But it comes within the balance. Which one is a little more off for you right now? How can you feel safe and secure about your goals? How can you feel so safe and secure about all of this? It's in the balance of these two. It's in finding out which one needs some adjustment and making those, maybe both do. Maybe they're both way up here. Make those adjustments. Do what's necessary. What type of foundation do you need to create? You need to create one that embraces both of these aspects because they're both important. You are important in your totality. If you are a multifaceted being, all of those facets have a purpose. And then we come to the guidance card, Child of the Cosmos. The intelligence of the universe lies within you. Hold on. That one opened right up to the page. Now I've got to look at here. All right, 46. So the guidance for this moon comes in this form. There is a mysterious force that governs all of life, an intelligence that tells flowers when to bloom and the tides and seasons when to come and go. That intelligence is within you too. It was there before you drew your first breath, and it will be there well beyond your last. It's the part of you that informed every cell what to do when you were in your mother's womb. It's harder to resist this force than it is to surrender to it. Because Earth is a planet of polarity and free will is easy to forget that this intelligence exists within us. So often we become disconnected from this pulse of life and fall into the pattern of believing that we're separate or feeling that we need to go it alone. We can feel isolated and as if we need to figure things out for ourselves, to rely on our own strength. You're being called to remember the intelligence that is within each and every one of your cells, to remember that you're a precious child of a loving, gentle universe, that you have access to all of the intelligence, all of the wisdom, all of the strength, all of the flow, and all of the qualities that there ever were, are, or ever will be. And to remember that if flowers know exactly when and how to bloom, then you do too. And here's your question. Your starseed soul inquiry. How can you surrender more deeply to the intelligent flow of life? There you go. There we grow. We are done. That is your Twitchy Tuesday reading for the Capricorn full moon happening on 7/3. And we will be back on 7/4 right after that Capricorn full moon. That is when our next Twitchy Tuesday is. And for us in America, it is a holiday. It's July 4th. I may come on early. I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to do all of that yet. I may come on early. So this is why we're going to go head to clear space now. This is why you need to subscribe and follow because I have it scheduled for 5:30, but that's kind of the cool thing. Sometimes we can just pop in. And if I did start early, the only way that you would know that is if you are subscribed or followed and you have your alerts turned on because then you will get a message from the YouTubes, from the Twitches to let you know that I have gone live. So make sure that you're out there doing that because there is another purpose as well. We're closing out quarter 2. We're headed to quarter 3. Love that this Capricorn full moon happens right at the start of quarter 3 because this is that assessment time. Where are you at with your goals? And our goals haven't changed. We didn't hit our quarter 2 goals. Totally fine. We made progress, and that is what we are looking for. So we are looking for 1,000 subs on YouTube, 100 subs on Twitch. I should say follows on Twitch. And how can you support? It's by doing just what I said. Heading to YouTube right now, go to my channel, make sure you're subscribed, hit the live tab. You will see all of the July Twitchy Tuesdays already scheduled out for you. Smash that notify me button and you are in. Twitch is really simple. All you got to do is hit follow. There you go. That's how you can help support this channel, support everything that we're doing here at Twitchy Tuesdays. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Again, who knows? Maybe we'll be early. Maybe we won't. You never know. Have a great week and have a beautiful, beautiful Capricorn full moon. Bye, everyone.